Hello, my name is Marsha Stern, and I welcome you to the Heartbeat of the Dance Floor, this episode featuring the very talented DJ Wayne Scott. I must begin by saying that this was the most difficult episode I've done to date, and it is with a heavy heart that I release number 13 of my podcast, dedicated to my lifelong dear friend Wayne Scott. In my opinion, Wayne is one of the most overlooked DJs of his era. He was an integral part of the foundation of what today we know as a dance music culture. He was also an integral part of my personal story, both professionally and in my life as a member of my chosen family. Wayne was, in many ways, a sibling to me, as I grew up an only child. A Billboard reporting DJ and one of Steve Rebell's original hires at Studio 54, Wayne's professional credentials were impeccable. Known for his style of nonconformity, often mixing rock with dance, with R&B, and even a gospel tune now and then. In some circles, I think Wayne might actually have been best known as the King of Sleaze, that down-tempo end of the night as it bled into the early morning musical trip, often featuring provocative or racy songs. A precursor to the 80s morning music, sleaze music was more prevalent in the private membership and after-hours clubs that catered to the gay population in New York City and on Fire Island's Cherry Grove and Pines communities in the summertime. Wayne has been a dear friend of mine since the first year I moved to New York City, almost 50 years ago. I began working on this episode with Wayne in the summer of 2023, with sincere hopes of sharing it with him on our annual midwinter visit. Sadly, and quite unexpectedly, his sister informed me of his passing just days before his 72nd birthday. This particular episode, truly a labor of love from its inception, turned into a wound so deep it's taken a little longer than expected for me to complete. My goal is to present my dear friend and phenomenal artist Wayne Scott in a way that honors his life and his contribution to our dance music culture. Without further ado, this is the story of DJ Wayne Scott. Born on February 12, 1952, Wayne grew up in Deer Park, Long Island, New York. His career beginnings included a stint at Rum Bottoms, a well-known venue on the island, as well as a number of other local bars and clubs. By the mid-70s, Wayne moved to New York City, joining the westward migrations of a group of other DJ friends that had worked together on Long Island for years. DJs like Roy Thode, Kevin Burke, and Sharon White. All of them rising from the early days of the jukebox music we danced to at bars to having a dedicated person playing the music for us, now mixing records together and providing a non-interrupted musical journey. As our dance music culture was emerging in the 1970s, all of these Long Island friends found their individual successes in New York City, creating notable careers for themselves and becoming a part of the foundation that today's dance music culture was built on. In early 1977, Sharon White introduced me to her circle of friends, and soon her friends also became my friends. At the time, Wayne was a Billboard reporting DJ in Manhattan and a member of Judy Weinstein's infamous record pool, For the Record. Wayne had established himself as one of what would become a very elite group of DJs in the last half of the 1970s. Just check out some of the names that are on this roster from a party in 1976. We've got people like Tom Savarese, Bobby DJ Gudadero, alongside Wayne, and others being recognized at this event. He regularly spun records at Hurrah, a popular club on West 62nd Street that featured both rock and dance music. It was here that Steve Rebell discovered him, quickly hiring him to be one of the DJs as he and partner Ian Schrager were preparing to open Studio 54 in April of 1977. During that opening year, it was Wayne who originated the oft referred to Gay Thursdays at 54. The clip I'm about to play was recorded shortly after Studio 54 opened, with anchor Pia Lindstrom for local New York 4 TV News. Kindly overlook the quality of this file, as no doubt it was digitized from an old VCR recording, which was all we had back in 1977.
And there are scores of them in scores of clubs. Pia Lindstrom profiles one of them tonight for us.
Oh, well, you're over there, are you? There are about 200 music programmers in this area. The best paid earn between $600 and $1,000 a night. They have fan clubs that follow them about, and even if the hours aren't terrific, 10 p.m. in some cases to noon, there are some perks. Like being invited to program the music for Elton John's birthday in London, or flying to Morocco to entertain the son of King Hassan. That's what Wayne Scott did. To be a programmer, you have to know at least 300 records and handle 2 turntables and a Uri mixer like the one at Magique, or a Bozak like the one at Studio 54. And then you have to put on a little show while you do it. The trick is to match, beat for beat, the records by increasing the speed and sound without breaking the dancer's eardrums. Wayne Scott, who's been doing this for 10 years, is a surprisingly quiet person for someone in such a noisy business. He's from Long Island, and he has a background in psychology. What are the qualities that you need to be able to do this sort of thing?
Well, like I said, psychology background certainly does help.
Why do you need your psychology background?
Well, it's a way to control the crowd. Once you have them in your hand, is your way of introducing new music to them. They won't usually take it if you don't give them what they want first.
You watch them while they're dancing?
I watch every move that's made on the dance floor. I see what turns them off, what makes them run for drinks.
Well, if you've been doing this for 12 hours or something, aren't you completely crazed when you get finished?
Yes. Yes. There isn't much more you can do after this to go and relax, because you certainly don't want to go someplace where they're playing loud music. And you don't go home and turn on the stereo. You go home and listen to silence.
I bet he longs for silence. Wayne said he doesn't expect to keep up this job more than a couple of years more. I guess you have to quit before you have the beat permanently in your brain.
Yes, have your eardrums blown out.
Yes. And thank you very much for putting up with us tonight.
Putting up with us.
Well, we had a little rocky moment here and there.
Well, you have to stay with us the good times and the bad times.
That's true. To
Good
be true
times
friends
coming.
that you are, I know you are. See you tomorrow.
Good times coming next with Tonight Show and Dudley Moore. Good night.
Wayne continued his Thursday night residency at Studio 54 while also playing occasional nights at Hurrah, along with a variety of smaller New York City clubs. The Ring, also known as the Cock Ring, being one of those small yet popular West Village clubs, and also where I began my lighting career, working weekly with Wayne, learning how to create visual excitement to his joyful music. It was so very special that I could be welcomed into my new career by some of my intimate circle of DJ friends who played there on weekdays. Another of Wayne's residences was at Flamingo, a popular gay club run by Michael Fesco, which only operated during the fall, winter, and spring months. Flamingo had 3 main DJs, Howard Merritt, Richie Rivera, and Wayne Scott, with their schedule rotating week to week as Flamingo was only opened on Saturday nights. During the summer months, each of those DJs played on Fire Island. Both Cherry Grove and the Pines had a reputation for not only being gay communities, but also being trend-setting communities, especially when it came to dance music. It wasn't unusual for a hit record to be broken or first played on Fire Island by these influential Billboard reporting DJs. John White had created a very popular afternoon tea dance at the Blue Whale, a part of this Botel complex on Fire Island Pines. Wayne Scott was the first DJ to play live tea dances at the Botel in 1976, then turning the reins over to friend, roommate, and fellow DJ Kevin Burke in 1977. When I met Wayne, he was one of the weekend DJs that played at the Sandpiper, the precursor to the Pines Pavilion. To enlighten you that aren't familiar, the Sandpiper was a restaurant at the Harbor in the Pines, featuring a live DJ playing records after dinner service, with the tables and chairs having been cleared away to make way for the dance floor. As the story goes, it was actually Tom Moulton that created the first mixed tape for after dinner dancing. This was so successful that live DJs playing music quickly ensued. Also launching the career of DJ Robbie Leslie, the Sandpiper remained the place to go late night dancing in the Pines until closing at the end of the season in 1979. It was sold that winter, rebuilt, and opened under new ownership in May of 1980 as the Pines Pavilion. Wayne continued to DJ in New York City and Fire Island. However, when the Saint opened in September of 1980, it caused a total shift in New York City's gay weekend nightlife. A membership club also, the Saint's popularity resulted in the closing of Flamingo in early 1981. Wayne was added to the DJ roster at the Saint, first as a guest DJ for a holiday party on New Year's Day, and soon afterwards becoming a regular part of the DJ rotation. Wayne continued to play at the Saint until he moved to Florida in the mid-'80s, leaving behind his career as a live club DJ. While Wayne did find a new career path along with his new life in Florida, his love of music and creating musical journeys for others never wavered. Utilizing the technology of the 1990s, now easily available at home, he was able to create a series of mixed CDs, which he shared with a small circle of friends. Wonderfully thematic CD sets that are no doubt treasured collections of a limited few. Mind you, this was before the existence of streaming platforms as we know them today. Fret not, though, as I'll be presenting those music files along with some very rare live recordings of Wayne from Studio 54, Flamingo, and other venues through the Heartbeat of the Dance Floor's sister SoundCloud account, Roy Thode's Heartbeat of the Dance Floor playlist. I've got a link below. Through the years, Wayne and I always kept in touch. Here's a few photos taken at a New York City Pride celebration from the rooftop of the Stonewall Inn, owned at the time by our friend Bob Grecki. I believe the year was 2004 or 5 during one of Wayne and his partner Roger's visits to New York City. Here's a photo of Wayne on the left and Roger on the right. And here are the three of us on the rooftop. A number of years ago, on one of my typical wintertime birthday visits with Wayne and his husband, Roger, I was entrusted with Wayne's life story. I was given some of his memorabilia and all of his digital archives. The ephemera is being shared with you on this podcast, so make sure you check out the YouTube video and get the visuals. I'm honored that Wayne has chosen me to be the keeper of his DJ legacy. And I'm grateful to continue to have a relationship with his sister and to have her blessings as I complete this episode. I've had the good fortune to have been able to contribute my ephemera for now what will be 2 proper museum exhibitions. In 2020, I worked with the Brooklyn Museum for their Studio 54 Night Magic exhibition. Among other items from my collection, they used one of Wayne's live recordings as a soundtrack for the first portion of the exhibit. Recently, I was contacted by the Paris Philharmonic and Music Museum about contributing to an exhibition that they are curating. I'm very happy to say there will be 2 announcements from parties that Wayne DJ'd in New York City, along with 2 of his Flamingo membership cards and other items from my collection of ephemera. Titled Disco I'm Coming Out, it's scheduled to open on February 14th, 2025 for a 6-month run. Hopefully after that, it will also tour. I've put a link in the banner so that you can directly access more information on this exhibition. And now, before I close, I'd like to share with you some more photographs of some of Wayne's memorabilia. Here's the photograph from where this amazing headshot was culled. Wayne had framed 3 original VIP drink tickets from his year at Studio 54, and this is a close-up of the one on the bottom. This is a schedule of Flamingo from November of 1980. An informal at-home photo of Wayne on the left and Howard Merritt on the right. A picture of the DJ booth at Flamingo from standing across the dance floor. This, a lovely note that was sent to Wayne from Peter and the Percussion People. Let me explain who they are. Many of us arrived to dance with our percussion instruments in tow, and we formed a circle or a group that would accompany the DJ's music all night long. And among the leaders of our percussion group or percussion people was Peter Davis, the author of this note, and Peter Whitehead, both with reputations as studio musicians as well. Peter Davis and Whitehead both played on all of the Joe Long sound productions that I worked on in 1978 and 79. And Peter Whitehead also famously was co-author of some of the original Village People material with Jacques Morali. As I mentioned, Flamingo closed. Michael Fesco went on to do promotions at Studio 54 under their new ownership management in 1982, 3, and beyond. This, an invite to one of the parties that Wayne DJ'd, and this, another invitation for a Gino Socio special. This invitation actually being included in the Paris Museum exhibit that I mentioned earlier. While at Wayne's house, I took a picture of the plaque at the bottom of his gold record he was awarded for Donna Summer's Last Dance. Photograph of the cover of an album put out on London Records, Star Discs. His credit on the inside of the album jacket at the bottom group. And Wayne was also mentioned in this book, Turn the Beat Around. I hope that you have enjoyed learning about Wayne Scott, one of the OG influencers of today's dance music culture. And don't forget to search SoundCloud's Heartbeat of the Dance Floor's Roy Thode playlist, where I'll be featuring Wayne's music. I thank you for listening, following, and subscribing to the Heartbeat of the Dance Floor. Until the next time, stay safe and keep on dancing.